Hello, hello, hello. Tamira Hamilton. Oh, yes, this feels so good. Fresh out the shower. We are going to talk digital marketing, Pinterest, video marketing, and building your business. There are a lot of people out here. It's all of a sudden everybody's making six figures in digital marketing, and many just actually bought a course that someone else created and sold them to sell to other people. So it's very interesting to me, but can't knock the hustle, right? But I am a professional marketer. Maybe White Sox was not the best choice today, but I'm a professional marketer. Over 30 years of experience and formal education, double master's degrees, marketing, finance, bachelor's degree, marketing and Spanish, Fortune 500, Fortune 100, private large companies, large consumer brands that you know and recognize in big box stores like Target and Walmart. Probably grew up with them in your home. So marketing is my jam. It's what I do. I've been marketing online since 2013, beauty products, skincare products, health and wellness, my own products in courses, coaching, consulting, you name it, I've done a lot of it, right? And one thing I can tell you is if you are not using digital marketing in your in your strategy, even as a small and local business, pretty soon you're going to really struggle, okay? Because Gen Z is really changing the way all of this works. All of this works, right? Gen Z is digital. They're a digital generation. And on top of that, they don't respond to or prefer or like the traditional stuff like at all. I've got to adjust this. There, that's better. There we go. Now I'm the right size, framed correctly. Okay, so digital marketing, making money online, internet marketing. I am of the mindset that everybody should, in some way, shape, or form, be involved in productizing themselves, their life, as Dan Cole would say, productize, right? It's about solving your own problem and selling the solution, right? Like my face was feeling a little dry because I am 50, not over 50 yet. I am 50, right? So your skin begins to change, right? My skin was feeling a little dry. That tells me it's time to hit the facial sauna. So I'm hitting the facial sauna. This facial sauna is available in my Amazon store. While I'm not here to talk about that, that is an example of solving your own problem and present the solution, right? I've been using a facial sauna since 2020, and I can tell you when you use it regularly, it really does help your skin. I also liked using it when everybody was wearing masks and we were going out, and that, I don't know if it's scientific or not, but I swear by it. Coming home and steaming and clearing out my nasal passageways and shooting that heat up there kept me from catching that thing for a really long time, okay? And when I did finally use it, I hadn't steamed, okay? So, solve your own problem and sell the solution. Way back when, my parents bought my girls a PS3. My grandson has a PS5. My girls a PS3. I bought them a game. Actually, I bought it for myself, Grand Theft Auto 3, okay? And I could not figure out how to use that game. And back then, I didn't even know about YouTube. I don't even know if YouTube even really existed yet. If it did, it was not widely known. I didn't check out YouTube until a few years later. The internet was still like not Web 2.0. It was still pretty much Web 1.0 or whatever, right? So I did search, and what I found was I don't know, a website or an ad somewhere where I clicked, and I spent like $10 on this disc that gave me the cheat codes. Okay, so someone else solved that problem by coming up with a disc and teaching you how to play that game, right? Russell Brunson, everybody knows Russell Brunson from ClickFunnels. So what he did is he taught people how to make potato guns or something like that. Some college boy stuff, right? So he taught people how to create potato guns. He, had a little website, and he made a lot of money that launched him into doing what he does now, okay? So solve your own problem and sell the solution. Digital marketing is not the product. Digital marketing is a skill set. It is not the product, okay? Digital marketing is marketing digitally, okay? And that is going to include things like email marketing, setting up automations so that your business can operate 24/7, 365. I always tell people, you will not make money in your sleep without automations. Without automations, you got to be tied to your business 24/7, 365, because the business relies on you to do things like confirm bookings, send out shipping notifications, to deliver the goods, especially if it's a digital product. And that is why you want automations. Now, what I love is that the automations have become so much simpler and easy to use for the regular everyday person compared to like 2016 or 17 when I was first introduced to ClickFunnels. And I've been pretty advanced, but ClickFunnels, I was like, oh no, I'm gonna stick to using 3 or 4 different things because I know how to use those. And this whole ClickFunnels thing, the way in its infancy was like, ooh, that is just too much. I cannot, I cannot, I will not. I'd rather pay 2 or 3 different people and boom. And it was still cheaper to pay 2 or 3 different people. And now you can use something like Systeme.io. If you go to TamaraHamilton.com/system, SYSTEME, and you can basically create funnels very quickly and easily. If you buy my MRR course, the AI traffic generation system, that is pretty much plug and play, right? There's a few bells and whistles you gotta hook up, but it is a pre-made funnel for you using Systeme.io, which is free for one course, for one funnel, right? So it's a lot easier to execute on these things and pull it all together, right? And honestly, over the last couple of days, I'm really starting to think I might need to create my own digital marketing MRR course, but we'll see, because I don't know if I really have the heart for all that. But so you see how easy it is for you to take a skill, something that you already know very well, and put it in a course, put it in an ebook, put it in a PDF, and sell that. You don't need a lot. I always tell people, never in history has it been as easy as it is today to wake up one day, decide, I want to make a couple $100 and use free websites like Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, along with like Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, and something like ChatGPT or Claude, and make a couple $100. In fact, someone like me can make several $1,000s just by coming up with something in one day and going out and creating it and then selling it to people, right? And the easiest way to do that, why some people struggle with that, it's not that it's impossible, the reason some people struggle with that is they want to go right to market. And there is a step in between creation and going to market, or actually, I would say should preclude or come before going to market. And that is creating your audience in your community. Once you have the audience and the community built around this product that you've solved for yourself, now you can come up with a product and you can take it to market and you can reap the rewards and fairly quickly. And building an audience doesn't take that much time, as we saw back in February with Risa Tisa and Who the F Did I Marry, right? She went from, you know, say 10, 20,000 followers to like 3 million in less than a week. Really just a matter of a couple of days, okay? So let's get my towel out the warmer. Yes, I'm bougie like that. And we're gonna get my towel out the warmer. Ouch, hot. My towel, see that steam coming off of there? So productizing yourself and your life follows this concept that I call you are the content, you are the brand, you are the algorithm, right? Because people are nosy. People love to keep up with your story and get all the tea, right? And it's piping hot, and the little things that you consider boring and mundane, you would be amazed at how other people like to follow and keep along. Like Risa Tisa, again, did she really think that millions of people would end up following her? I loved what she said on Sarah Jakes Roberts' book tour about, you know, being able to comfortably use auto pay now, right? So, you know, she might not have made any money directly from TikTok, but other things have come up and presented itself, and, you know, she's able to do that. And that's how quickly it can change. If you're a person, like, one of the things I struggled with for many years in my digital marketing journey was thinking that everything had to take time and that it had to be in a sequential order, okay? It had to be in a sequential order. And you can quantum leap, right? You can jump timelines. It's all about your belief and, you know, making sure you're taking that inspired action. Okay, now to my favorite part. Solve your own problem and sell the solution, right? This is what I tell people. If you are an adult and you are broke in this day and age, that's your own damn fault. That's your own ass fault, as Kanye saying in whatever song he said that lyric, right? There is no reason, there is no excuse to be broke when you have a superpowered computer in the palm of your hand. Do you know the first computer like took up like a huge room, and now we have these superpowered computers that have, like, you know, last I knew, like, you either a terabyte or 2 of space of storage, right? Several gigs of memory, right? And the first computer, way back when they created it, was ginormous, and it used tapes, you know, magnetic tape, like the company 3M from Minnesota manufactured, and it took up, you know, a huge room, probably at least the size of my apartment, at least, right? And now we have that capability in the palm of our hand, and so many of us use it to consume content, to consume what other people created and make them rich, right? And that is why people are getting upset and blocking celebrities and major companies. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying, why not do what they do, but do it for the good, right? Do it the right way, right? You can, it's not that it's bad. If you are doing things the right way and a conscious person, why not use it for good, right? Making money is not bad. I'm never going to be that person. I'm never going to be that, money is the root of all evil. Money is required. Money is required like air. Like we have to breathe, we have to make money to turn that cold air into hot air in the state of Wisconsin where I live, right? We have to have money for cooking gas. We have to have money for electricity. We have to have money to clothe ourselves, right? Even if you make clothes, you still have to go buy your materials, okay? So we are long gone from the days of bartering. Long gone from the days of bartering. And I am out of eye masks. Out of eye masks. So no eye masks today. So everybody is consuming. Too many people are consuming and consuming too much content and not creating content, okay? Creating content can free you and get you out of the rat race. So let's talk about how I freed myself from the rat race back in 2015. Very similar to what I see a lot of people doing today, but instead of TikTok, it was Periscope, okay? It was Periscope. I remember being excited that spring and getting on Periscope and making all kinds of videos and just saying how Periscope was going to change the landscape of the beauty business, right? And it was going to be the next best thing for social media. It was like getting on Facebook in the early days. If you could get on now and you could rise with the app as it grew. And that's literally what a lot of us did. And some people did even better, way better than I did. I'll tell the story, okay? So for me, I was going live every day, building a community. I got up to like 2,000 followers. And one day I was out on a walk and I had my phone, I had Periscope up. It was all blurry. And there was this guy on, and I had seen a few of his videos, and he was in a coffee shop, and he had a piece of paper and a pen, and he said, what if I were to create a course about how to monetize Periscope? And he asked his audience what would they like to see in that course. And so his audience literally helped him design the course, and he mapped it out on a piece of paper, and he shut the live down. Then he came back. And he said, sometime later, he said, what would you pay for that? Right? And so he was live and people were chatting and giving him feedback and people were really into it. Really, really into it. So he went off the live, and guess what he did when he got off the live? He went and he created, not even the course, he created a sales page and he hooked it up to a payment gateway. And he came back and he went live and said, okay, I've created it. You can get in now. And here's a discounted price if you get in now. And people bought the course left and right, all through that stream. And I watched that. And that is when I realized I had been playing small. I realized that it could happen and it didn't have to take months or years and all this toil like we are taught that, started from the bottom, now we here. There has to be a whole lot in between: time, struggle, pain, torture, right? And I watched in awe of what he did. And I said, if him, why not me? And so I did the exact same thing. Only I wasn't selling a Periscope course. That was his product. That was his problem that he solved. I sold how I went from a struggling digital marketer to having people basically order and buy product from me in my sleep. And I shared how I created the market and how I'm trying to think, how did I put it? Because it started with, I found this on accident the other day. I found the screenshot of the webinar that kicked it all off. And the webinar title was How to Market Your Direct Sales Beauty Business Without Annoying and Pissing Off Your Friends. And so that was the whole premise of the course, is how to get beyond badgering and harassing your friends and family to do business with you, and how to get to that cold market, warm it up, and turn them into customers, right? How to take that cold market, how to take a stranger and turn them into not only a buying customer, but even ascend them to being a net promoter or an affiliate. And I sold it way too cheap, way too cheap. I would never sell it for what I sold it back then. And so on that webinar, you know, so before the webinar, I went live on on Periscope, and said, okay, I'm thinking about making a course. You've all seen, and you all come to me and you're always asking about how I do things, about my blog, and, you know, how my Instagram blew up and all these things. And so I'm thinking about creating a course. Okay, I'm thinking about creating a course. If I created a course, is that something you would be interested in? What would you want to see in it? I did the same thing that he did, right? Already in my mind, knowing how I'm going to do this, but I'm still open to the feedback, right? I'm still open to making sure that this is something that people are going to want to buy. And one of the great ways, you should write this down, one of the easiest ways to do that is by including them in the process, getting their feedback. But at the end of the day, it's still your course, and you are still supposed to know what you need to be providing. You don't just give people a course of what they want. You actually have to give them what they need, okay? So did that, and then I said, okay, I'm having this webinar on Saturday at 2 o'clock Central Time. And this was key, because that meant it was 3 o'clock on the East Coast and noon Pacific Standard Time. And so that meant that moms who had to get the kids out to soccer and other things, you know, activities in the morning, could have that done and be back home and in position, okay? So I did that, and then I let the replay be available for 2 days, and then I sold the replay for $48. And on that webinar, I presented my webinar, which I still have, but I'm not going to show people because I looked a mess. And at the end of it, I pitched this course that I was going to create by being live every Monday on Facebook in a group that only housed the people who paid for this course. Okay, and back then I used technology called 22 Social, which allowed you to create like websites and pages right within Facebook, and you could hook it up to PayPal as your gateway. So that's where I housed the webinar. That's how, you know, the quote unquote funnel was set up very easily and at scale for someone that was beginning and, you know, on the smaller scale like myself, and hooked it up to PayPal and everything. So you could register through there, and that gave me people's email addresses, which I had already been building an email list and had over 7,000 people on my email list at that time. And I presented it. And I remember sitting on that webinar right before I like prayed, and I really set the intention that people were going to buy from me, because people love to pay me, people love to learn from me. So I set that intention, right? And I still was nervous to ask though. So I just blurted the ask out, and then I saw the first notification come through. And then I saw another notification come through that somebody registered, and I'm saying this live. So-and-so just registered, thank you. So-and-so just registered, just like I saw him do on that Periscope about his Periscope course, which I did buy, okay? And so like 5 or 7 people bought right there on the spot. And so there were people who weren't able to make it, and they wanted to see the replay. And so if they were within the 2 days, like through that, I think by that Monday, the webinar was closed, and then you could pay $48. And if you paid $48 and you bought the course, it went toward the course, right? But if you didn't buy the course, you just paid $48 and you got to watch the webinar, because the webinar was that valuable. This wasn't a pitch fest. I presented value and taught people. I told them what to do. The course was how to do it, and we could do it together in a group coaching setting. Write that down and understand that. The webinar, the free webinar, the webinar that was free initially was free for a limited time, and it was so valuable that I was able to charge $48 for the replay. And I got $48 because I saw another creator who had made like $1 million doing the same thing, which is consequently is who the guy who created the Periscope course and who I saw do this maneuver on Periscope learned from and had been her virtual assistant. She would sell her replays for $48 in the beginning, and then I think her replays wound up being $97, right? Because the replay itself was a course. It was a workshop. It was a masterclass. She just happened to do it free and for a limited time and then cut off access and you had to pay. And so that's what I did. So if you watched the replay and didn't want to buy the course, there was no love lost because you learned what to do. And that's okay. If you learned what to do from me and then you felt like you could go and do it on your own and you could figure it out, kudos to you, right? But if you wanted that help to know the how, that was what the course was for, okay? And so this is literally what happened. That course made enough money that I said that I would quit the job that I hated at that time come Labor Day. And I didn't last 2 weeks at that job because I started being picked on. And something was said to me about that little makeup business 2 days after I had just made thousands of dollars just by going live and having a webinar. And it was like, you know what? I don't think this is going to work for me. I think it's best for everyone that I no longer work here effective immediately. And I did, right? And then I held the course and more people bought the course. And honestly, I kind of went into a little depression, and I had heard this would happen and I thought people were crazy. There was no way that this would happen to me. And I didn't even make $1 million, right? I made well into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 figures, well into 5 figures, right? And probably not enough that I should have really quit my job just yet, but I did, and I made it. I'm still here, okay? But I kind of went into depression by that fall because it was like, it was a little scary, but I kept making it work. I kept making it work. I kept selling. I kept selling. I kept coming up with stuff and selling stuff and serving. But it was like, I felt bamboozled. Like, it was this easy all this time. It was this easy. I didn't really need a college education to do this, though it did help me. And it probably did help speed things up, in my opinion, to be completely honest with you. But it was this easy. This is all I had to do all this time. All that time I was, giving these companies all my time, my youth, my best years, my health, and putting my wealth in their hands for them to give me, if I'm lucky, a 2 or 3% raise each year. And this is all I had to do. It was this easy. This is all I had to do was create an audience, create a market, and then create the product, solve my own problem and then sell the solution. That's all I had to do. But see, the thing is, I did have a very strong marketing foundation with over 20 years of formal education and experience when I got to this juncture. I did, but I had to learn, and over the course of a year, 18 months, I learned everything that really began to execute for me and build a business online for me, and then I was able to teach it to other people and get paid for it, okay? So I didn't regret any step on the journey. I really didn't, but it just was crushing that nobody told me, that nobody, that it would have, that I would have done it, because I would have done it a lot sooner had I known. That's all it takes. Because I remembered going to my 6-figure job and hating it, or hating a boss, or hating the boss's boss, and feeling trapped because where else am I going to go work? And I got 2 kids. I'm a single mom who are dependent on me, and my kids are not going to struggle. They are not going to be on government assistance or anything like that. I'm going to give my kids as close to what life would be on 2 incomes as possible. So where else am I going to go and make this kind of money? Because part of that is the brainwashing and gaslighting they did at that company too, a big bank. And to know that I could have started doing something like this and had it going and creating income streams while I finished out working there, and the wealth and what that could have created for my family, it was, I couldn't even communicate all of that. I can communicate it now. All I knew is it just got to the point by like October, because this all went down in July. That webinar was July 18, 2015. And by October, by September or October, I kind of stopped going live on Periscope, and just, you know, I had my private clients and I was working with them because I just was depressed. I didn't even want to get out of bed. I didn't. And then somehow I worked myself out of it and got back to it and you know, I would go live and I would talk to people and tell them, you know, you are a cash generating machine and you don't know it. And I'm not talking straw man therapy, straw man theory, or any of that. But your life is worth something. You are worthy, first of all, of success and massive compensation. You are worthy of it. And you, how do I say this? You are a product. How do you productize your life? How do you productize your skill set? I remember my first job out of college, I was known as the Excel guru. And to be honest with you, I wasn't really a guru. I just knew the basics of Excel better than these people were, who were using Word docs like it was a typewriter, not a word processor. Like, you know how you could center on Word, like by the push of a button? They were still typing over and counting spaces and doing that. It was scary. It was like, are you serious? But that's because they didn't have college education. They had not learned how to use these tools and resources like I had, so they just thought it was, or they refused to learn the new way, because, you know, people love to do that. They love to fight the new. They want to stick with the old. And so that's how they used Word. I used to hate going over their old documents because I would just start over with a new document and redo what they did and add what I needed to add to it, because I refused to go over and type in those documents that way. It was so wild to me, right? And so, you know, I was the Excel guru. I remember, again, back when we used dial-up and we would put those discs in for AOL, I remember buying some discs, again, to teach me Excel and Word and PowerPoint better, to be more marketable for a job. Not thinking I could be like the person who came up with those discs and was selling them, right? So whatever it is people come to you for on your job, I honestly think that's the first step. That's the first place you go to with the product you're going to create. Okay? That's the first step that you go to. That's, oh my God, my skin feels so good. So moisturized. Much better than it was feeling earlier. Much, much better. By the way, I don't have a filter on. Okay? So no, I wasn't even thinking like I could be like this person, because I guess I didn't even realize it was like an individual person, that it was more like, you know, some company or firm who was setting that stuff up, when it was most likely an individual. Okay? So we live in a time, in a space, where it is super duper easy for you to get online and start making money, and very quickly. See, a lot of people want to learn how to do something new, and they want to start their first business as something brand new that they got to learn. That's going to take you time. And what you most need when you start a business is money. You need cash flow, right? And that's why I created my cash flowing, money growing business mastermind the summer of 2020. Oh, it feels so good. Because people needed to learn how to generate cash flow in their business, right? And I knew how I solved that problem for myself. And so I wrote down my process so that I could teach it to other people. And I did over 6 weeks. I recorded it live each week, right? And how I did that was I created a Google Doc. A Google Doc, that was my sales letter that presented the case and sold the course and linked to directly to my Stripe account page, checkout page. And I began to message people in my market, people who had bought from me before. And people bought it. And then the day I promised to go live for the first time in the group, I did, right? And so what you do is you decide it's just like college, a syllabus. What are the objectives of the course? And then you make sure that you deliver on the course. I've never had anybody say I didn't deliver on my course. If anything, I over-delivered, right? And that's because I write down what you're going to be able to know and do by the end of this course, and then I create the content and deliver that, right? And so anytime you buy a course, if that course doesn't tell you what you should expect to learn and do, you should not buy that course, right? A lot of people are online, oh, 6 figures, millionaire. That's an income claim. That's very dangerous water. Very, very dangerous water to be on, okay? Very, very dangerous territory to be in, okay? So I created that course, and then I created a part 2, which went deeper into the Facebook ads aspect. And I just haven't stopped since then, because you don't even have to create a course. You can create an ebook. All you need is Canva, and you can write an ebook today, right? You can write a PDF. You can do a video. You can record a video, hook it up to a page, and sell that as a masterclass, right? It does not take a lot of work. You don't even have to make it pretty. A lot of people are making stuff pretty right now, and that's fine. Most people don't care how pretty it is. They care, does it give them the transformation that it promises? And many of the best courses and digital products that I've purchased, they delivered, and it wasn't, I didn't care what they looked like. I really didn't care what they looked like, because I was desperate for whatever transformation they were promising. And so that was why I bought. That was why I enrolled. That was why I signed up. By the way, if you're not following me, make sure you click that button up there. I'm going to come up halfway on the screen. You can also get my Essential Guide to Social Media Engagement from the link in my bio. I also have a free training there, The Secret to Winning at Pinterest When You Are Short on Time. Okay, so solve your own problem and sell the solution. Oh, it feels so good, especially after that heat. This is how you shape your face. Okay, so that's my story. That's how I freed myself from my job. So here's what you need to make money online, right? You need a product that there is demand for. And that is why I went live on Periscope, to assess that there was demand. Now, you're not Procter & Gamble or Unilever or any of these conglomerates. So what you need for a market is nowhere near what they need for a market, right? In fact, many of the things that you wish that they would do and they won't touch because they say it's not a big enough market, that's what you're supposed to create, okay? Like TD Jakes said, if you hate the way people's hair look, then you become a hairstylist and you do hair the way you think that the hair should look. So there's opportunity in those things that you hate or despise, right? So you need a high converting product, okay? And you need to create content, and that is where the conversions come from. Okay, so when I did that webinar, I laid the foundation for that webinar to be a success by creating the market in the first place. and then letting the market know, hinting that something was coming, that I was thinking of something, and getting them involved and inviting them to the webinar. And people showed up live and they bought. Okay? So a lot of people just want to come up with something and then they present it and they have no market and then it flops, right? A lot of people will compare themselves to their guru and what their guru's metrics are, not understanding that their ideal audience is different. So their ideal audience is going to have different metrics, and you have to keep testing it, and you don't just give up because you only made $70,000, right? Do you know how many people would love to make $70,000? That's more than a lot of people make in a year. And I know people who, you know, quit what they were doing because it was a failure of a launch. No, it wasn't. You made $70,000. It wasn't a failure. Now you figure out what you need to do to make it 100,000 the next time, or 140,000, or 200,000 the next time. It's not a failure, especially because this stuff that we do doesn't even, a lot of businesses might have to spend $150,000 to make that $70,000. With digital products, you don't have to spend anywhere near that, right? Even if you do an in-person portion at a hotel and you gotta fly to the location and pay for the hotel for you to sleep in and for the meeting space, it still ain't gonna cost you that much money that $70,000 is a failure. You still walked away with a nice piece of change, okay? So I'm gonna go now. I will be back live later. I'm gonna go meditate, burn my incense, create a product that solves your own problem, and you sell the solution. You have to create the market. Gotta create the market, okay? Gotta create the market. I will talk to you later. Bye.